Welcome to Warehouse Automation Matters. I'm your host, Mary Hart, and I am here with Kevin Sullivan, Chief Operating Officer at Conectiv Supply Chain Solutions today. Thank you for joining the show, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mary, for having me.
Why don't you first give a little bit of information about yourself and your role in the industry and what Conectiv offers?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I'm the COO of Conectiv. Conectiv is a specialized manufacturing and supply chain company. Our legacy actually goes back 100 plus years and primarily focused around the world of media and entertainment. So we were formerly known as Technicolor, a name that goes back in the history of Hollywood. But our business really built up around the supply chain and manufacturing for media. So film reels, and then more recently moving into packaged media products. So DVDs, vinyl records, things like that. So we still have a large business in the world of media and entertainment, but we've also taken a lot of our supply chain logistics skills and are applying that now to more broad industries, operating effectively as like a third-party logistics company.
That's fascinating to know the history. Thank you for sharing that. So, as you mentioned, Conectiv works with a wide range of industries. What's your approach to building 3PL solutions that flex to meet such different operational demands from media and entertainment all the way to medical products?
Yeah, so flexibility is actually one of the key things that we feel kind of differentiates us from the common 3PL. So our legacy that I just sort of described with media, we had to be flexible because the business itself was very complicated and very diverse in what we had to do. So it was everything from managing like a product launch event to like a motion picture new release where we'd have to have millions of products sent out to retail stores all concurrently within a tight 48-hour window, to doing rapid replenishment of SKUs to retail stores, to doing point of purchase display assemblies, and working with the major Hollywood studios. They all have their own unique ways of doing this. The flexibility was just inherent in everything that we did. And so that's, as we look and diversify in our business and other market verticals, it's really in our DNA. That's how we operate. That's what we do. It's really nothing new for us. It's a great way for us to be able to position ourselves as a differentiated supplier out there.
And flexibility really is the name of the game these days. Can you share an example of how automation might look different when you're supporting a consumer electronics company versus a medical device brand?
So we do a lot of products into big box retail. So when you're supplying big box retail stores, there's a lot of focus on multi SKU rapid replenishment orders. So you may have to send a package that may contain 15 to 20 different SKUs, and that may need to go out to, say, 4,000 different Walmart locations. So when we're talking about a product like that, the automation that we're deploying for that is really in the end of high speed unit sortation systems. And that's, helps us to automate that. When we look at the other side of our business, which is more e-com focused, so that may be things like Locus robots, AMRs, or all the way up to fully integrated ASRS systems. When we talk about like heavily regulated products like medical products and things like that, that's really comes down more to about like batch control and tracking of product, which is really more, that's really process and software side as opposed to the hardware automation side of things. But it's certainly a key part of the equation.
That makes sense. And especially for a medical device, you really want to make sure that you have that traceability to be able to track it throughout the process. So, how does Conectiv balance customization with warehouse scalability? Every industry wants something tailored. So, how do you design automation workflows that still allow for customer growth, repeatability, and efficiency across accounts?
Yeah, I mean that's a very good question, and that's something we balance every day as we go about our business. So as I mentioned, flexibility is one of our strengths, but you can't be 100% customized for every single customer. That's just not efficient. That's just not realistic. So we have to find a balance between that. So it ultimately comes down to, when we think about our sales and marketing strategy, we try to target companies that have commonality in their basic needs. So when we think about customers that are shipping into big box retail, the products may be very, very different, but the needs of what they need to accomplish from their supply chain partner are very similar, and therefore we can, we don't need to customize as much as we would. But to the same point, we remain opportunistic. We will evaluate, out of the box opportunities based on specific customer needs. And so again, it's just a bit of a balancing act between we need to deliver the flexibility the customer needs while maintaining the overall operational efficiency.
So let's talk about onboarding. When a new customer comes to you, maybe from a highly regulated medical space or one with unusual SKUs, how do you assess what level and type of automation is right for them?
Having a highly defined onboarding process is really a key to success. So, I mean, it really starts at the very beginning of the sales cycle. So, as we engage with prospective customers, filling out those questionnaires, talking to them, doing the discovery calls, understanding what their business profile is, how many SKUs do they have, what are the dimensions of the products, what are their shipping profiles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that level of investigation gets deeper and deeper as we progress through that sales cycle up to the point where we've secured the customer. And then we have a specific onboarding team, which looks at that as an individual project and how we bring the customer on board. As it relates to automation implications of that, it depends on the customer. Smaller, medium-sized customers, we will tend to try to make sure that we develop a solution that leverages existing infrastructure, existing automation. If it's a larger scale opportunity where it makes sense, we're going to look at that more holistically. And if we need to do something new or different, then we will take that into account based on the size of the customer and their needs.
So, on your website and having conversations with Conectiv before, packaging and kitting seem to be a real specialty for you. How do you use automation to streamline those services, and how do customer expectations vary across industries in those workflows?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Packaging and kitting are very important to us. It's something we've developed over many, many years. And when we talk about packaging, we're talking about the consumer end packaging, final retail packaging, not the packaging stuff for shipment. So it's a challenging thing when you think about automation in that world because the form factors of packaging are very different, right? In our legacy media business, which is when we think about it as like the DVD business, you have a relatively standardized form factor, and so we are heavily automated around that. But at the same time, we have a lot of product that's even in that same industry. You may have collector's edition sets, or you may have sets that include 20 or 30 DVDs in a package. That is very different animal to tackle, and you're not going to really be able to automate that. We work in both sides of the equation, so we have automation for where it makes sense. We have enough scale and standardization to apply the automation, but then where more flexibility is required, we have very strong processes in place to manage these on a more manual basis. So going forward, as we continue to diversify, we're going to again kind of take it on a case by case basis, looking at what our customer needs are, how standardized are their products, form factors and otherwise. And where we do deploy automation, we have a lot of experience working with the machine vendors to develop these solutions to be able to fit that automation solution to the specific needs of the customer.
So we know that returns are notoriously messy, especially in the media and retail world. Where does reverse logistics fit into your customization model, and how do you tailor automated processes to handle returns efficiently?
It really is at the heart of kind of how we operate and what makes us special. And so in the traditional DVD, Blu-ray business and retail, returns was a major component of that. So we have built a very significant amount of automation around that. A lot of this has been kind of custom built in-house. And it works very well for that business. The flow of inbound returns volume is relatively consistent. It's relatively predictable, so we can develop a pretty automated solution around that. As we look at our growing e-commerce business, when you talk about returns in e-commerce, that's a very different animal. That's more unpredictable. It's more one-offs. We continue to explore opportunities of how we can do that more efficiently, more automated, but that's definitely a path we're walking down currently.
So Conectiv is clearly not just a pick and pack operation. What role does data play in making your automation smarter and more responsive to each customer's specific KPIs?
Data is obviously critical to everything we do in our operations. And yeah, the diversity of our service offerings from everything from manufacturing through distribution, kitting, et cetera, to have a seamless flow of data is not always very easy, especially when we have different customers that may use different segments of that supply chain, where we have some customers that we do everything for, from the manufacturing of the product all the way through packaging through distribution. where other customers were really more just on that back end distribution support. So specific to automation, our focus is really going to be around that back end distribution piece and making sure that all the data flows are accurate there. So the customer KPIs when it comes to distribution are, generally speaking, there's always the big ones like on time in full. Are you shipping on time? Are you hitting the delivery dates? Those are the key KPIs that every customer is going to want. And beyond that, it really is a matter of what's the nature of the customer's business. We tend to have pretty deep integrations with our customers via EDI or API. So we try to make that all very automated and make sure that we have reporting and KPI tracking that is very dashboard friendly and easy and live.
So, is there an industry use case you think is underappreciated right now, such as a sector where automation could have a bigger impact, but it hasn't yet fully leaned in?
The one that jumps to the front of my mind immediately is around the shipping dock. So there's a lot of goods to person solutions that really take that pick pack process and really automate it. But when it comes to how do you get that product once it's been packaged and labeled, how do you get it out the back door of the facility on the right truck, et cetera, et cetera. So management of the loading dock and making sure that that works as efficiently as possible. There's are certainly solutions out there, but from us, Conectiv as a perspective, that's something we continue to look at and how we can continue to improve that. So that's one that jumps out at me.
So, looking ahead along those same lines, how is Conectiv thinking about the next wave of automation? Are there emerging technologies or customer needs that you're preparing to meet with new capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So we try to keep a close eye on all the emerging technologies. AI is obviously a hot topic and seems to permeate just about every conversation when it comes to any business technology. Right now, our primary focus is really going to be expanding some of the existing proven technologies that we've deployed more recently over the past 2 to 3 years, including our Locus AMR robots, and expanding the use of those, as well as expanding the use of some of the ASRS systems that we have in place. Inventory management applications are also of particular interest to us as well as we look forward. So there's a lot to consider in that question, but right now we're trying to scale the things that we have done effectively while keeping an eye on the future.
So, Kevin, one last question. What advice would you give to a warehouse manager that's evaluating 3PLs, especially if they're looking for a partner that can support both customization and long-term scalability through automation?
You really have to know your partner. The 3PL partner that you're choosing has proven ability to deliver results. So that's a long track record of proven operations, customer referrals, things like that. It's a competitive space. There's a lot of startup companies out there. There's a lot of people that can promise a lot, but as the warehouse manager, you really need to be 100% confident that your partner can actually deliver on what they say they're going to do. So it's eyes on their facilities, talking to customers, and really doing your homework and making sure that they can actually follow through on what they're promising.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's great advice. And thank you again, Kevin, for joining the show today.
Thank you so much, Mary. It's been great to talk to you.
Thank you. And thanks as always to our listeners. We're here to help you move what matters with unmatched flexibility and unlimited throughput.